Hello everyone, I am Rekha Murthy, Assistant Professor of Electrical Electronics Department from Sai Vidya Institute of Technology. Today I am going to explain the experiment on the regenerative test on DC shunt machines. So this test is also called as a Hopkinson's test and also the back-to-back test. Why it is called as a back-to-back test? Because we are going to make use of two identical machines, that is motor and generator, which are mechanically coupled to each other. So what is the main aim of this experiment is to conduct the Hopkinson's test on two identical shunt machines and to predetermine the efficiencies of the generator and motor and to plot their efficiency curves. So here we are going to observe that the motor and generator, which are mechanically coupled to each other, the output of this motor is going to drive the generator. What is the output of the motor? That is a mechanical output. So, mechanical output is going to drive the generator and the output from the generator, that is the electrical output, is going to drive the motor. But since the generator output is not so sufficient to drive the motor, so that is why the motor is being connected across the supply mains. So here, in order to compensate that losses, we are supposed to connect that motor towards the supply mains. So here let us see that what are the apparatus is required to conduct this experiment. So as we tell that this is a one motor generator setup we require and one rheostat which is of 600 ohm for the motor side and for another rheostat, that is 400 ohm rheostat for the generator side, and the DC ammeters, that is 0 to 20 amperes, and another range of 0 to 2 amps which we require the 3 numbers, and another DC voltmeter. So this DC voltmeter, which is of the range of 0 to 300, we require at least 2 voltmeters. And in addition, we require the SPST switch. We require the SPST switch and as well as the connecting wires. Now let us draw the arrangement. That is, before we start with the arrangement, we have to see that which type of the machine you are going to use. Both of the machine is of a shunt type, right? So let us go through the nameplate details of the machine. So one type of a machine is as a DC shunt motor, and the other type of the machine is DC shunt generator. And both the output is almost the same, 3.5 kilowatt, and the rated speed is also the same, that is 1500 rpm. The only thing is the rated current of the motor will be more compared to that of the generator. So the rated current of the motor will be around 18.6 amperes. So which we have to take care about this when we are going to vary the rheostat. It should not exceed this value. And also for the generator side, we have to remember the rated current of the generator will be around 16 amps. Even at the rheostat which is present nearer to the generator should not get increased beyond this value, or else the machine get damaged. So now let us see, we are going to draw the DC shunt motor arrangement. So what do you know about that? In general, we know that it will be having the two parts, that is armature side, armature of the motor is being connected parallel to the field winding of the motor. So this will be Z and Z. So both the arrangement will be in parallel. Similarly, on the other side, what you can do, it will be coupled together and it will be connected to the generator, which is of having the same A terminal, that is armature terminal A and A. This generator is also be of a type of shunt. So that is why here also we are going to connect to the field winding which will be across the armature. So this is a basic principle which you can apply. Now in order to complete these two loops, on the two loops, right, the two armature loops. So to complete that we require a starter. That is, in order to start that machine, we require a 3-point starter. So 3-point starter will be consisting of the 3 terminals. So 3-point starter will be consisting of the 3 terminals. What are those 3 terminals? Is L, F and A. So L stands for the line, so F stands for field and A stands for armature. So as the L stands for line, we will complete that one part of a loop. So L is being connected to the ammeter. L is directly connected to the ammeter. It is being directly connected to the ammeter. So that is DC ammeters. So we require a DC ammeter which is of the range of 0 to 2 amps. 0 to 2 amps. So this ammeter is going to read the value, that is nothing but the motor current. That is nothing but the motor current. And we are going to split up this, the other end of this ammeter to the T shape. And the one end of this will be connected to the another ammeter. So that will be of another DC ammeter which is of the range of 0 to 2 amps. So this ammeter is going to read the value, that is nothing but the I0 current, that is the no load current. Now let us complete this. One end of this, the positive terminal, is being connected directly to the DC supply. So that DC supply which is of 220 volt DC supply. Okay. So this is how we can complete the one end of the part of the ammeter. So this is nothing but the MCB which can be presented here in the dotted line. Now let us complete the other part of the other end of this ammeter, where it should go. It is being connected to the one part of a device which we have included a new that is switch which is called as an SPST switch. So it is being connected to the SPST switch, that is single pole single throw switch. So it will be having two terminals, right? So this one end of terminal is being completed this part of the T shape. The next part, let us find the field. So we'll complete that other part later. So let us complete off this field. So as the name indicates, F should be connected to directly to the field winding. But here we can directly connect it to the field winding through a rheostat. So rheostat need to be connected in series with the field winding of a motor which is of the 600 ohm 1.1 amperes. And this rheostat is required in order to control that value of the field current. So how do you measure the field current? By making use of an ammeter that is being inserted here. So this ammeter is going to read the current, that is the field current of the respective machine, that is the nothing but the motor. So it will be connected back to the negative supply. This is how we completed the field part. Next, coming to the A. A stands for armature. So that armature is directly being connected to the A terminal of the motor, and the other end of the motor is being connected back to the negative supply. So this is how we have completed the motor armature loop, right? Now coming to the next part of a generator. In the generator, again we are supposed to split up into the two parts. The one end of the A is being split up into the two parts. One part, that is, we need to directly connect it to the field winding, that is to the Z and Z terminals of the generator. But in addition to this, we have to make use of a rheostat. So that rheostat, which will be of the range of 400 ohm 1.1 amperes. 400 ohm 1.1 amperes. And in order to get the value of the field current, we require an ammeter, that is nothing but again a DC ammeters. So that DC ammeter with the range of 0 to 2 amps. So this DC ammeter is going to read the value of the corresponding the field current of a machine, that is nothing but a generator. So this is how now we can close back this armature loop of this generator. And also we need to draw this line. This indicates that it is being mechanically coupled to each other. Now we are left over with the other end of this generator. So that is need to be connected to the SPST switch. So it is being connected to across the SPST switch. And to see that here, what is the change with the SPST switch when the switch is open, what is going to happen when the switch is closed, what is going to happen. That can be seen by a device which is being connected, that is nothing but a voltmeter, that is of DC voltmeter. So we are going to connect the DC voltmeter across the SPST switch to see the changes, to see further changes of switching from off position to the on position. So this DC voltmeter, it will be in the range of 0 to 300 volts. And we can also connect one more DC voltmeter across the supply in order to see the supply voltage. So this is also we are going to use with a range of 0 to 300 volt. So this is what we had completed the circuit diagram, and we can also denote the direction of the current as we give a supply. So how does the flow of a current flows? So this is what the higher potential to low potential I0, and the current which will flow through this ammeter, this will be the direction. And also you can continue the loop. So here you can see this current, that is nothing but IFG, and coming back here. Similarly here also you can see that the current which will be further flows here. Okay. So here you can see on the other side of a generator part. So on the generator means it will always gives out the current. It will gives out the current. So therefore you will find, you can see this is what the current it is going to give out, and this part of a current is nothing but IFG, which is being circulated within this loop. So this will be another loop. So this is about how to draw the circuit diagram. And now let me tell you about what is the significance of this SPST switch. So this SPST switch, initially it will be in off condition. It will be open, right? So here we will give the DC supply, and we are going to vary this rheostat. But initially we have to make ensure that this rheostat should be in cutout position, that should be in minimum position, and the rheostat for this it should be in cutting position. CO, that means it should be in minimum position, cutout position. CI means cutting position, that should be in, that rheostat should be in maximum position, right? Fine. So now you will give the supply 220 volt, and we will see that this is what the circulating current takes place. But before that we have to vary this rheostat in such a way that the machine is going to run with a rated speed of 1500 rpm. Both are same, so therefore 1500 rpm. So we can notice that we are going to vary the 600 ohm rheostat, and we can get the 1500 rpm, right? Then we need to vary the generator side also in such a way that we can see before we vary this generator rheostat, we can see the voltage, the voltmeter is going to read some value, some non-zero values, right? So we have to make ensure this rheostat should be varied in such a way that the voltmeter should read 0. The voltmeter should read 0. So once the voltmeter reads 0, the SPST switch is to be kept in on position. So this is to indicate that the generator voltage will be having, this indicates that the generator voltage will be having the same magnitude and polarity as that of the supply voltage. And also we can say that why you are taking this as 0, why it should indicate 0, and also we can see the changes that this generator is going to avoid the heavy circulating current across the armature loop. So for that purpose, this voltmeter reading should read 0. After once it reads 0, the SPST switch is closed. So it will be in the on position. So after that, we have to take down the readings. So that is nothing but the no load readings. It is nothing but the no load readings. Now we can notice that how to load these two machines. That is one of the advantage of this Atkinson's test. Without having an external resistive load or any resistive bank, we can automatically vary the rheostat which is there on the machine bed. So by varying the respective rheostat itself, we can load it. We can test it simultaneously both the machines to identify the efficiencies, right? So here what we will do, to take down the load readings, we need to load both the machines. So first thing is we have to this will be in the in maximum position, right? Either what we have to do is we need to increase the excitation of a generator or we have to decrease the excitation. We have to decrease the excitation. To increase the excitation of a generator, we have to decrease the excitation of the motor. This increasing excitation means we are controlling the field current. That is by the rheostat which is connected in series with the field winding. Increased excitation means it is called as over excitation. Decreasing excitation means we are under excitation. It is called as under excitation. So we have to make use of these two terminologies when you are going to take down the loaded readings. That means we have stopped till here, this part of it. We have closed the switch. Now we have taken the no load readings. Now the machine is loaded. How? By decreasing the excitation, that is by under exciting the motor. So again you have to under excite this motor. That means you have to keep increasing this. So here the motor current should at least it should read before taking a load readings, it should read 4 amperes. 4 amperes should get raised to 6 amps. So that time you have to, till that you have to vary this rheostat. Then take down the corresponding readings of all the meters. Right? That will be our first set of reading. Second set of loaded reading is we need to increase excitation. Increase excitation means we have to reduce this rheostat. In such a way that the motor current should get increased by from 6 amps to 8 amperes. From 6 amperes to 8 amperes. So earlier it was 4 amps. 4 amps is getting increased to 8 amps by the motor and rheostat. Then 6 amps is getting increased to 8 amps by the generator rheostat. Right? Then again take down all the set of the readings of the meters. Then further, again you have to decrease the excitation. So this step will be carried out again and again till you can reach up to 10 amps. So we can stop till 10 amps because here you can see the rated current is 18.6 and for a generator it is 16 amperes, but you can stop it till the 10 amperes. After taking all those readings, all the further readings, we have to bring back to its original position. How? So this we had changed by the motor, this we had changed by generator, this we had changed by motor. Okay. Where did we stop? We have stopped at the motor side. Reduce this to 8 amperes. Again, reduce the rheostat of the generator to another 6 amperes. Again, we have to reduce the current of the motor to the 4 amperes. So like this, we have to bring back to its 10, 8, 6, 4. So we have to bring back to its original position by doing this. Once it reaches to IN to reduce it to 4 ampere, we have to again off the SPST switch. So once you open that SPST switch, again make sure this rheostat, that is a motor rheostat, motor side of a rheostat should be in minimum, that is cutout position, and the generator rheostat should be in cutting position. So after doing that, we can switch off the supply. So let us see that where you can do this experiment on the setup. So let us move on to the setup where we are going to conduct this experiment. Setup where we are going to conduct the Hopkinson's test. That is nothing but a regenerative test. So here you can see that we are making use of the two machines specifications which we have discussed in the theoretical, and you can see the motor and generator is being mechanically coupled, and this is what the 1 mg set, okay, motor to generator setup. And we are going to make use of the 2 voltmeters. So this voltmeter I am going to connect it across the supply, and another voltmeter, this voltmeter is being utilized which will be connected across the SPST switch, okay, and we require 3 ammeters, that is of 0 to 2 amperes. So this ammeter will read the IM value, the motor current, and this will be the field current of the motor, and this ammeter I am going to use to read the field current of generator, and that will be the speed panel which you can see that. And here the rest and all, the rheostat will be here towards the motor. So this will be the rheostat of 600 ohm, 1.1 ampere. Similarly, the rheostat which will be provided here for the generator which is of 400 ohm, 1.1 amperes. Okay. Now in addition to this, we require one more the DC ammeters, that is nothing but at the no load current, which I am going to make use of this DC ammeter which is of the range of 0 to 20 amperes. So we are going to make use of common and 30 amps. And in addition to this, one more switch which I had introduced in this test, that is called as SPST switch, single pole single throw. So it will be having only the 2 terminals. So now coming to that, the theoretical circuit diagram, we can see that here. So let us conduct the experiment by connecting this circuit. So as per the theoretical, we have discussed the positive is being connected to the positive is being of the supply is being connected to the positive of ammeter. So let us do that. Positive of the supply is being connected to the positive of ammeter, that is to the common point. So this will be the common point which is plus. Okay. The other part of this negative terminal will be a 30 amps. Don't select 15, please select the 30 ampere. So this terminal need to be connected. This terminal need to be connected to the one more ammeter. So that is nothing but here this ammeter which is going to read the motor current. So let us do that. The other end of this ammeter need to be connected back to the line. So that is line of a 3-point starter. Okay. The next is the same terminal. You can see that here the negative of this ammeter which we have taken externally. So that connection need to be connected to the SPST. So we are forming that, as we discussed in the theoretical, we are forming a T-shaped. So that is the negative of this ammeter need to be connected to the SPST switch. So we have completed the line part and as well as the T-shaped as per the theory. Right? Now we will start with the field part. So field is connected to the rheostat. Field is connected to the rheostat. So we are going to connect this F terminal. Field is connected to the rheostat. The other end of this rheostat should be connected to the Z. The other end of this rheostat should be connected to the Z. The other end of the field winding of a motor ZZ terminal should be connected to the one of the ammeter, that is positive terminal IFM, which is that field current. It is clearly written IF. So I will prefer this ammeter to read the field current of motor. So ZZ is being connected back. ZZ is being connected back to the positive terminal of the field current of the motor. Now the negative end of this ammeter is being connected back to the supply, that is a negative supply. Okay, so we have completed this field connection part and connected back to the negative supply. Now coming to the armature side, the armature terminal is being connected to the armature of the motor. Armature terminal is being connected back to the armature of the motor. The other end of the armature, that is AA, is connected back to this ammeter. Or else it can be directly connected to a negative supply. So we have completed AA is being connected back to the negative supply. Now further coming to this, I will start with a small wire, that is AA of the motor is being connected to the AA of a generator. The other end of the generator armature, that is A terminal, is being connected back to the positive of the ammeter, and also it should be connected to the other end of the SPST switch. So let us do the one path, that is AA is being connected to the positive of ammeter. That is A terminal of the generator is being connected to the positive terminal of the ammeter. That is one path, and the same end we have to connect it to the SPST switch. So we have completed this SPST part, closed part, and let us complete this final, the loop of the armature loop of the generator. The negative end of this ammeter, that is nothing but this. So that should be connected to the rheostat. The other end of the rheostat should be connected to the Z, that is the field terminal of the generator. So it should be connected to the Z terminal of the generator. The other end of the ZZ should be connected, the other end of the ZZ should be connected back to the AA. So this is how we have completed this loop. Now coming to the voltmeters which we have to connect it across the SPST switch. So that voltmeter I am going to prefer this on the board, which will be connected across the SPST switch. And another voltmeter I have to connect it across the supply. Another end of this voltmeter, that is the voltmeter which you are going to prefer across the supply line, means I am going to prefer this meter. Okay, so this will be connected across the DC supply. So this is about the connection part, and make ensure before we start up we can check once again, and we can conduct the experiment. And before you start with the experiment, make sure that everywhere is being tightened, and the rheostat of the motor should be in cutout position, that should be in minimum position, and rheostat of the generator should be in cutting position, that should be in the maximum position, and the SPST switch, it should be in the off position before we start up. Now let us switch on the supply, and we have to shift the DC starter from off position to. Then we have to note down, we have to vary the motor, right? So this motor rheostat should be varied in such a way that speed should read 1500 RPM. further we have to continue to do the experiment, that is measurement of armature resistance. Now let's move on to the circuit diagram of measurement of armature resistance. To find the armature resistance, the same circuit we can take up as what we had conducted in the previous sessions. So armature of the motor is being taken, which is being connected in series with the resistive bank load, and as well as it is connected in series with the ammeter. And this the other end of the ammeter need to be connected to the 220 volt of DC supply. And to measure the resistance, as you know, as per the Ohm's law, R is equal to V by I. So we also require one voltmeter. So that voltmeter which will be connected across the armature, which is of the range of 0 to 10 volts. Now let's move on to the setup where we are going to the same setup where we are going to find out the armature resistance. Now we have come back to the same setup in order to measure the armature resistance. So you can see here the positive of this supply should be connected to the positive of ammeter. So let us connect on the same board. The positive supply should be connected to the positive of the ammeter. The negative end of this ammeter should be connected to the armature of the motor. So you can see that we have completed. The negative of the ammeter should be connected to the armature. The other end of the AA, that is this terminal, need to be connected to the resistive bank. So we have already connected this. You can see that the two wires which has been left out, and that one end need to be connected to the AA of the motor. The other end of the resistive load bank should be back connected to the negative supply of the 220 volt. So you can take up the other end of this, which we are going to take up, that should be connected to the negative supply. And now we have left out with the voltmeter. The voltmeter should be connected across the armature. So positive of this should be connected to the positive of the one end, that is A terminal, and negative end of this voltmeter should be connected to the AA terminal. After this connection, we have to make ensure the resistive bank load all should be in the off positions before we start off. So now we can switch on the supply, switch on the MCB, and here we can weigh the load, that is of 1 amp, 2 amps. So we will take 2 amperes of a current. Note down the respective voltage, that is 2 volts, and the current is 1.78. First trial is voltage is 2 volts, current is 1.78 amperes. For the second trial, what we are going to do, we have to switch on the another 1 ohm resistance and 1 ohm. So this will be of another 2 amperes. So here, after taking that the 2 amperes of variation, you can see the voltage, that is 3 volts, and the current is 3.48 amperes. Now further we have to load for the third trial. So when you are going to further load it, so this is the switch which is going to correspond to the another 2 amperes. This itself is indicating the 2 amperes. Why? Because we are going to make use of a 16 amps resistive bank load, wherein you can see this from the first switch to up to fourth switch will have a 1111 amperes. Then from this, the fifth end, we can say that it will be corresponds to a 2 amperes. So this will be for single the 2 amperes itself. So you can switch on this, which is of 2 amperes. And note down the reading, that is the voltage will be 5 volts and the current will be 5.09 amperes. So like this, after the 3 trials, you can take down you can find out the respective resistance and find out the average resistance value. And here you can see further, as from here this switch will be also corresponds to all 2 amperes, because here this will be 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, total it is 4, plus from here onwards it is 2, so it will be 6, then another 2 means 8, this will be 10, 12, 14, 16. So this is what it constitutes the 16 ampere of the resistive bank load. Now we will switch off this after taking down the 3 trials. So we have to switch off the supply. After finding the armature resistance, we will do the further calculations to machines, that is generator and as well as the motor. And the next we have to plot the graph taking down the tabular readings at the beginning what you had got, and further doing the calculations with the help of armature resistance. So this will be the expected graph which you are going to get it an efficiency, that is x-axis as output in kilowatts and y-axis as efficiency. So this will be the curve for the respective motor, and the next curve that will be for the generator which you can get it here. So in this way we are going to able to complete the aim of this experiment, that is finally we have conducted the Hopkins test on two identical DC machines, and we have also predetermined the stray losses and as well as the efficiency of the generator and motor. Thank you for watching this video.